So students, to proceed with the condition for minima, this was what we had got for the condition for maxima. So to proceed for the condition for secondary minima, we take this expression where we consider that when sin beta is n beta is equal to 0 but sin beta not equal to 0, then sin of n beta by sin of beta will be equal to 0, which means sin of n beta equal to 0 and n beta should be equal to plus minus m pi. Okay, so well, this basically means n of putting the value of beta pi by lambda a plus b sine of theta is equal to plus minus of m pi. Okay, so what you get is n pi n, so pi cancels from both sides. What you get is n of a plus b sine of theta is equal to plus minus m lambda. So m has all integral values, you will see, excepting what? So m will take all integral. This is very important to understand. If you have not, please let me know. Values excepting 0, which is central maxima. Okay, so n, you will see 2n, okay, nn. Alright, as for these values of m, sin beta also becomes 0. Then it will be indeterminate. Again, you have to take the limits, and for these values we will obtain the principal maximum. It is thus evident that there are n minus 1 minima between two consecutive principal maxima. So between from 0 to n, you will not see 0, you will not see n. So how many minimas you will see? N minus 1, isn't it? So there are n minus 1 minima between two consecutive principal maxima. It is principal maxima. If you remember, when you did the diffraction rating experiment, I insisted that you say that it is your principal maxima which you are studying. Okay, principal maxima. Alright, okay, now let us study the secondary maxima. The secondary maxima which we know so well in our single slit diffraction phenomena. Secondary maxima. Okay, what is it? Well, for secondary maxima, we consider which equation? We considered the equation now, the second one. Alright, n cot of n beta minus cot of beta equal to 0. Okay, now if you consider this equation, its roots other than those of beta equal to n pi give rise to another set of maxima, which is secondary maxima, isn't it? So you see, if we have to evaluate sine square n beta by sine square beta subject to the condition that this is equal to 0, well, what do we get for sine square n beta by sine square beta? Well, if you just evaluate sine square n beta by sine square beta, see this into, so for secondary maxima, if you consider this equation, sine square n beta by sine square beta into this equal to 0, that means what? This is either equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. Now if we try to evaluate this, subject to the condition that this is equal to 0, what do we get? You can show, okay, well, you can show that sine square n beta, I'm not going to go into the details of, because you have it and you will not get this derivation for your exam. You can show, but the important conclusion that you arrive at, sine square beta is equal to n square by 1 plus n square minus 1 sine square beta. If you have not, if the derivation is given over there, the simple trigonometry, if you can't do it, you can let me know, then I can derive it for you. So the intensity of the secondary maxima, the intensity of the secondary maxima I becomes, this remains a0 square for diffraction sine square alpha by alpha square into n square by 1 plus n square minus 1 sine square beta. Okay, so you see what is n square? N square is the so if you take the ratio of the intensity of the secondary maxima to the intensity of the principal maxima, you will see that the intensity of the secondary maxima is very, very less. Because what is n square? N square is the intensity of the principal maxima. So if you just take the ratio of the intensity of secondary maxima to the intensity of principal maxima, what do you get? Well, this is equal to, if you just take the ratio, okay, what you get is basically 1 by 1 plus n square minus 1 sine square beta. So it is clear that as n increases, the intensity of secondary maxima relative to principal maxima decreases and becomes negligible when n is very large, isn't it? So this is the reason why secondary maxima are not visible with a grating. Secondary maxima are not visible, therefore secondary maxima are less intense in a grating. Okay, almost not visible. Okay, almost not visible, almost not visible in a grating, because n increases with the number of slits and therefore 1 by n goes to 0. Okay, so let's stop over here for this particular video.